Something has to be done, or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlement cutting and the theft, the bad management of entitlements.
Donald Trump last week has floated now cutting Social Security. And this is kind of a departure, at least from his rhetoric, and we'll talk about, is it a departure from his actual policies here in a second, but it's at least a departure from his rhetoric, where he has consistently said, we're not going to touch Social Security. Social Security is off of the table. Never going to cut it. We're going to keep it. We're going to make it strong. We're going to make it the strongest Social Security. And so he has departed from that rhetoric. He must have been talking to Stephen Mnuchin or something too much, but here he was on CNBC being asked about that specifically, and let's listen to what he said.
One thing that I think that at least the perception is that there's not a whole lot of difference between what you think we should do with entitlements or non-discretionary spending and what President Biden is proposing. It's almost the third rail of politics, and we've got a $34 trillion total debt built up, and very little we can do in terms of cutting spending. Discretionary is not going to help. Have you changed your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done, or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
So first of all, there is a lot you can do in terms of entitlements, in terms of cutting, and in terms of also the theft and the bad management of entitlements.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. So there you go. Lots of things that you can do in terms of cutting. I mean, that's pretty, pretty unambiguous there. That he is, at the very least, open to cutting Social Security. And this is the thing that frustrates me about Republicans on this issue, is that, they pretend like they're not. They'll say things like this, like, oh, I'm for, I would be in favor of reform or whatever. And then you get them in a less friendly, they might say stuff like that in front of their, business freaks, like on CNBC. But then if you get them in front of a less friendly crowd, oh no, I would never cut Social Security. Despite the fact that actually in one of Donald Trump's budgets, he did call for cutting Social Security and Medicare. And now he's calling for it in interviews. And the Republican Study Caucus has called for it every single year, called for a 20% cut in Social Security and Medicare. In every single year that they put out a budget, they're calling for it. And then, right-wingers on the radio or when they're penning op-eds are going to try to pretend that, oh no, Republicans would never cut it. It's just the most bizarre thing that I see in politics, is this two-facedness about this issue, saying that we have to cut it, it's the responsible thing to do, and then in other times saying, oh no, we would never do that, that's totally off the table. But when they are, when they're looking out the side of their face where they're saying we need to cut it, their reasoning for that is that we have to, right? That we have to, that we are in so much debt, and the host mentioned it there, we're in so much debt, we're spending so much that it's just impossible. This is an impossible thing to have to keep doing. And what they won't tell you is that there is a cap on Social Security taxes. It's like $250,000 or something. So you pay your Social Security tax up to your $250,000th dollar. On your $250,000 and first dollar, you stop paying Social Security taxes for every dollar after that. So a millionaire, a person who's making $1 million a year, only pays Social Security and Medicare taxes on the first $250,000.
I thought it was less than that, honestly.
It may be less than that. I don't know. But just, it's not, it's there's a cap on it. I'm not sure. It's somewhere around $200,000, $150,000, something like that. And every dollar after that is not taxed at Social Security. All you would have to do to make, and you know, the thing that they'll quote is that, oh, Social Security is going to be insolvent by 2034, in 10 years. At that point, they're going to have to cut the law. The provision is automatically you cut by 20% the payouts. And so that's the thing, that's the nightmare scenario. All you have to do to prevent that from happening and make Social Security solvent for 80 years, for almost 100 years, is remove the cap. That's literally all you have to do. You don't even have to make rich people pay more as a percentage of their income than the rest of us do. Right? People love flat taxes. You know, that's one of the things that right-wingers are always talking about. If we just extended the Social Security tax to every income level, then Social Security is solvent for nearly 100 years. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because they like being able to make all this money without having to pay Social Security taxes. That is the easiest solution to it, where you don't have to cut benefits for working people, where you and it's solvent. But it's the easiest solution to the crisis. You just make wealthy people pay the same Social Security taxes that the rest of us do, and then Social Security and Medicare solve it, basically, for 100 years. But they don't want to do that because they don't want their donors to have to pay more taxes, and that's why this conversation keeps on being had. And so it's very frustrating. But I encourage people to not believe it, to not believe the things that they hear. When people are talking about Social Security is going to go bankrupt, we have to cut it because if we don't, Social Security is going to go bankrupt. No, that's not true. We can just raise taxes. We can just make wealthy people pay the same amount as you do. And then we would save Social Security. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.